Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. This week is a bit of a different episode. I am going to share with you my summer tops list. Some of these I've knit before, so I can recommend them, and others I have been recommended by my fabulous viewers, and others I've just done a lot of research on Ravelry and found things that are going to suit me and my style and the kind of cuts that I like, and my knitting style as well. So my knitting time this week, my knitting time has actually been spent doing a lot of this research and thinking about what I might want to end up knitting. And so I have created a huge bundle and I've now pared it back down. It's only one page. I've started off with some sort of basic shapes and styles at the top that are in a number of different weights of yarn and that call for different kinds of yarn as well. So that you can, merino or linen or cotton, all that kind of thing. Because often you don't have a particular thing in your stash, but you might want to use it. So there's a few different options in terms of patterns. And keep in mind that this is my preference, and this is the kind of like uniform t-shirt that I would want to wear for myself, and takes into account that I don't like a really high boat neck or a very wide boat neck. I don't want it like slipping off my shoulders. I don't particularly like a V-neck, but I'm wearing a V-neck right now, and I'll talk about this one when I get to it. But this one isn't too deep. I'm kind of sitting a bit funny. That's a bit better. And so I mostly like a rounded neck, and I was looking at patterns and I saw a lot that were actually knit sideways, and my gauge is awful when I knit sideways. My stitches are much shorter than they are wide, and so it completely changes a pattern and I have to do way too much maths. So there are none that are knit sideways, even though I really liked the look of some of them. So that could be another whole rabbit hole that you could go down by yourself if that's something that you're interested in. But here are my suggestions of where my summer knitting is going to be. Today is going to be quite a hot one, so it seems like a perfect day to be talking about summer tops and summer knits. Everything will be listed in the description below, and I'm going to link to a bundle of them that I have on Ravelry, so you can go and check out all of the details for yourself. I'm going to give you probably how much they cost, the kind of weight of yarn it's in, and a little bit of detail. Otherwise, I'm probably going to be here all day. And again, I haven't knit all of these, but I have brought over the ones that I have so that I can show you. So the first on the list is the Tolster Tee by Rebecca Clow. So I'm going to be looking down quite a bit so I can actually read the details. And it's $14.33 Australian. But that's great value because the pattern's actually in DK and 4-ply. So you've got plenty of options to be able to use this if you feel that it works for you as like that sort of shell. Even in the actual pattern pictures, it's got some with dots on it, some wide stripes, some thin stripes, eyelets. So you can really see how it could be modified to basically do whatever you want. It also is really size inclusive and has different bust shaping as well. So I feel like this one, and I know a number of people have knit this and suggested it to me. So I feel like this is probably one that I will be purchasing and will give me tons and tons of options. Oh, it also has a long sleeve version as well. So this is like a really all-inclusive pattern that could work for the perfect shaped top if that's what you like. Another one along that sort of lots of options is the Flax Sock by Tin Can Knits. The flax also comes in a DK and a worsted. It is written as a long sleeve top, but many of the projects are short sleeve, so you could go in and have a look at what someone has done, and I would say that you might want to cast on some additional stitches so you had a bit of a looser sleeve around the arm. But and I have knit the flax DK with stripes, and it came out really nice. Tin Can Knits have really great instructions, so I think that would be a really good one and it's a free pattern. The next one I looked at was the Tenkar tea, and it is $12.76 Australian. It is by Ania Juti. I don't know. It has some garter detail on the top, and then the rest is stockinette. It's worked in the round from the top down. It's quite a boxy style. Again, something that you could adapt, change, add stripes to really work on, but just that garter detail at the top is something that's a little bit interesting and different, and then you've got that stockinette for the rest. Another option is the Give Me the Tea by Jenny Ansar. Ansar. It's in the 52 Weeks of Easy Knits, which is one of the reasons that I've included it in my list, because I already have that book. So you can purchase the individual pattern for $9.48 Australian on Ravelry. But as I said, I already own it, so it's something that I probably will look into making. It's a boxy crop style with a rolled neckline. It uses a mohair and a fingering weight yarn. So it might be a little bit too itchy for an Australian summer. I don't know. It might be worth having a go. It is cute, and it actually might look really nice over the top of a dress, I think. Now, I think you probably don't have a summer top list without using a petite knit pattern, and so I've included the Anchors summer shirt. It is $11.48 Australian. It is knit from the top down. It is a DK, but it is a cotton rayon linen and flax blend, so it would be quite light. It is top down yoke with some interesting rib detail on the top, and extremely size inclusive. So I think that would be, again, it's got that little bit of detail on the top without being like crazy detail. So I think you could wear that a lot and it would just look nice and smart. The next one, now this is the first one that I've actually knit myself, kind of knit. It is called the Faded Frenzy. It is by Andrea Getman, and it is a free pattern. It is, I didn't do a faded version, and I actually kind of miscalculated how much yarn I had, so I've changed mine a little bit. So it's quite a square kind of top. Now, it's supposed to just be like a boxy fit, but I ran out of yarn and didn't have anything that I felt faded well into it. So what I did is just did a rib section at the bottom. So it kind of pulls in much more than it should, but the sleeves, it's like an interesting construction. You kind of start with the shoulders, and then you work out. You can, if I can show you the back, because you can probably see it better here. There's some different shaping through here, and so yeah, it is a nice shape, nice short sleeves, simple rolled neck, not too high across the neck, and I think that you could play around with color and style with this to get a top that you like. So that's the first one that I've actually knit. And I'm going to try it again and not do the ribbing at the bottom and just make it like a full top. The next few, I probably won't go into too much detail here, but I have put together a few different, just like really plain kind of tees, and I think that I'm going to have to go through and either buy and try, or just take a bit of a get some feedback from you on which ones might be good to try out. There's the Anna Tea by Sarah Stark, which is $13.03 Australian. It is quite size inclusive. It's got a saddle shoulder, and it is designed to be knit in just is fingering weight yarn, merino linen. The Perfect Knit t-shirt is, you can buy it on Ravelry for $8.09, but it is also available on her website for free. But obviously you then have to navigate through the ads. So up to you whether you would pay or not for this one. It looks quite clean and simple. which actually appealed to me, which is why I was interested in it. It is a DK cotton bamboo blend, so it would actually be quite airy and light, I think. And it looks like it sits quite nice. It's got a nice what's that called? Round neck, and simple roll sleeves. So something that could be worth a try, especially since you can get a free version. Then there's the Pyramid Light, which is $13.44. It's a raglan, but it also has some really interesting shaping and detail at the front, something that makes it a little bit not quite the same as everything else. So I'd be really interested to try that. Another fairly basic looking shaped, I don't know if you can hear that really loud motorbike, sorry about that. Another really basic shaped top is the Suri shirt by Kadri, and it is made out of a light fingering. So the other one, I'm trying to do a whole lot of different yarns here so that I can go to my own stash, but then also sort of find what's going to work best for summer here in Australia too, because I haven't worn a lot of hand knit tops over the summer. So it is a boat neck, but it's not very wide and it's got some ribbing there. So I think you can draw it in as much or as little as you wanted. You could probably go down a needle size or two for the ribbing and actually get a bit more of a snug fit around the top, because I'm not sure that I really would want that sort of boat neck creeping off the side of the shoulders. And it's got a split hem, so that's a nice little detail that sets it apart from some of the others that I have in my list. There's also the Skyline tee by Tori Yu. It is $13.75 Australian. It is a crew neck. It has some ribbing detail along the shoulders. So it's like a saddle shoulder. Looks quite cute and clean. So would be good to try sort of a bit of an elevation up from just a plain top, with that detail across the shoulder. Then there's the lounging top, the fingering weight version by Joji Locatelli. Now, I love her patterns. I've knit plenty of Joji patterns before, so I know that it would be a style and fit that I would probably really like. It is $11.32 Australian. It has a garter detail hem at the bottom. It has a round neck, and I think that it would be a really easy thing to wear overall, and easy enough to add some texture into, or some stripes or some patterning if you wanted to. The next one and this has been recommended to me by some other knitters as well, is the Rocket Tee by Tanis Lavallee. It is 100% 4-ply merino, so perfect for just grabbing those sock skeins or sock yarn skeins or out of the cupboard and using those for something a little bit different. It is $14.56 Australian. It is a slight V-neck, but it doesn't look too deep. And then it looks like it's got quite a bit of positive ease through the body, quite a nice shape. Again, all of these are a bit of a blank canvas to be able to put your own detailing into. Now, the one that I'm wearing, this is called Flamboyant, and it is by Marie Amelie Designs, and I've knit a few of her patterns, and I find that the fit is really good for me, and they are all free, which is quite amazing. She's got quite a lot of top patterns, so yeah, this is one that I thought I'd try out for myself. It is a sport weight, and it has some slight texture detail around the V. Nice short sleeves with a little bit of a roll, and it is quite an A-line, open sort of body, so quite good for warmer weather because it doesn't, it's not like snugging in at the bottom. So that's why I chose it, and it is really comfortable to wear. So this is one that I like. I mean, the V is probably a little bit deep for me in general. I certainly wouldn't go any wider or deeper than this for myself. But yeah, as I said, a good pattern, and her patterns are really great. I can definitely vouch for their ease in terms of writing. The Summer Sorrel is another pattern that has been recommended to me by a viewer. It is by Wool and Pine. It is 14.16 as an individual pattern on Ravelry, or it is in an ebook, which is 72.80. But that includes 6 patterns. So if you look and like the rest, you might actually end up going with that as well. I think I am including another one of their designs later on in this video, so it might actually be worth ending up to buy the ebook if they're the kind of pattern that you like. It is a circular yoke design with some cables, and it looks really quite lovely. It looks like it would sit nicely. That kind of yoke style I really like to wear and does suit my body and my shoulders. So it would definitely be one that I would be interested in trying out. And I have some other yoked ones that I'm going to show you shortly that I have. It's been knit quite a lot. It's been knit over 1,600 times. So it is certainly one that you would get some good feedback and interest from, and some inspiration from other knitters. I might now focus on the other 2 designs that I have knit, and then come back and talk about the rest that are on my list quite quickly. Otherwise, this is going to be a super long video, but then you can go and explore all the others that I have, rather than me going through them all. As I said, I haven't knit them, so I don't actually know the ease in which they would be knit or if they would fit. So first to the Daybreak tee, which I was wearing a week or so ago on the video, and I made it out of a recycled denim yarn. It is by Destiny Meyer, and it is a free pattern, and it's got this really pretty lace detail on the top, but it's not too low, so you kind of can wear a regular bra and it works really well. Sits nicely, was easy to knit, instructions were easy, and I think I will be making some more of these. It is the DK, and it suggests a cotton, but as I said, I used a recycled denim, which I think is basically cotton anyway. And the other one that I've shared with you before is the Yellow Brick Rodeo by Mary Annarella. I can never say her name right. By Mary Annarella. And I have made 2 of these. It's my pink one with the white and blue and purple through the mosaic detail at the top. And it said that that's a mosaic yoke, and then it's just a knit body. So you can use that pretty skein of yarn. It doesn't even take a full, for my size, it doesn't take a full skein of the contrasting colour. So you get a lot of bang for your buck out of that colour, I think. And then the other one I knit is in blue. So quite a different look. And there's a close-up of the colour and the mosaic. So they really do come up looking quite different. And I said that yoke style really fits me well. So these work really well for me as t-shirts. I'm starting to now get down into the patterns that are a bit more maybe concept rather than like style and fit. And would be interesting to either try as a pattern on their own, like buy the actual pattern, or to just take some of those ideas, nothing's actually really all super original, and combine it into a style or fit of t-shirt knit that you are able to discover. So I sort of found one that had some lace detailing down the side called the Cascata. There's the Lanakai Summer Tee, which has a yoked top that has lace detail through the yoke. The Kentia, also by Marie Emily Design, so I know for sure that one's free, which is a whole lace panel at the top, and then stockinette for the body. The Told Bowden, which again is a lace yoke, but just sort of eyelet lace, and then plain body. The Maven top, which is a fairly basic looking shape and then has some garter ridges through it for some detail. Both the Friday tee and the Asota Summer Top 2.0 are quite textured, and I think I would actually like to knit one or both of these, or at least take the texture and put it onto something else. I think that is quite an effective use of a texture onto a plain shell. The Fleur tee, which again has some really interesting lace detail, which I think could really elevate that plain look. I'm really kind of buzzing through now because I don't want to spend too long either showing you or editing it afterwards. As I said, I don't really have like a countdown of what's good and what's bad. This has just been me going down a huge rabbit hole this past few weeks. I chose the violet, which has some really pretty lace detail on the hem. So again, that's something that you could actually just grab an idea, find something in a pattern book, and adapt a pattern that you find fits you really well. The dahlia tee, which is a V-neck, but it's quite an interesting construction and detail. It's got some texture in the knitting and some beautiful ribbing at the top. The layer, which has got some lovely detail around the neckline. It is by Annie Strick, which is the designer that I am working on the Little Love top right now. So I know that her patterns are really great to follow. So that would be one that could be interesting to try. I then found quite a few that had sort of in the similar line from Yellow Brick Rodeo, which I know I really like. The Aster tee, just like it's got like a bobble kind of popcorn stitch across the top, which is a really cute use of maybe some mini skeins, or again like a really nice special skein of yarn. The Alpine Bloom, which I think is quite a well-known pattern by Caitlin Hunter. That's the only actual like color work pattern I included. I did look at some DK color work short sleeve tops, and I just think that would be too hot for Australia. So even though they were really pretty and I had them on my list to begin with, I'm like, I just don't think that I'm ever going to wear a long sleeve top with all this, or short sleeve top with all this color work on it in a DK weight yarn. It doesn't seem like a thing. The tank top with an E on the end. It's quite an interesting construction. Again, this is also by Annie Strick. So it would be, I'm just a bit intrigued by it. I don't know if I'd actually knit it, but I just thought I would include it because it is quite a different design and could be quite interesting. Is this by Annie Strick? Did I get that right? No. Leila is by Isabel Kramer, not by Annie Strick. And then all of the rest that I have on my list, apart from two that are actual proper color work, are more ideas and inspirations in terms of how you could use color, stripes, that kind of thing to add to one of those early shells that I was going through. So there's the Rabina tee, there's also the before I get to those, there's the Hermeline top, which has got some beautiful lace cabling down the center. Again, you could get that whole pattern and do that, or you could find yourself a really lovely cable lace panel that you like from a pattern book, and you could add that to one of those shells. So this is where sort of like the second half of my list is very much more for inspiration and use once I've sort of found myself my perfect uniform top. So there's the Rabina, which has got some beautiful color work that looks like little bunting or flags. The color tip tee, which is just taking some different colors just for the hems and cuffs. The Vibes tee. Now this was also suggested to me as an actual pattern in full that someone really loves and has used a number of times, and it could definitely be that as well. but it is knit with some stripes that actually are quite striking, and using different thickness of stripes, but also adding texture at the same time. And it is a fingering weight. It is 14.56 for the pattern, and it is a yoked top. So again, something that I probably would try because it is a yoke style, and it's got some eyelets and some really striking use of stripes. It's by Tiff Nealon, who's quite a well-known designer, so I think that it would be very well written as well. So then there's two colorwork ones that I'm actually quite intrigued by. One is the Vonnie tee, which is only using one color at a time from reading the instructions, but it's quite an interesting use of two colors and quite a bold look. So that would actually be quite fun to experiment with. And it uses a silk merino blend. It's $12.76 in a fingering weight. It's a modified drop shoulder using a contiguous set-in sleeve method. So it looks like an interesting construction, and I think that's sometimes it's fun to try something completely different. The other colorwork one that I really like is called Sunraysia, but this one is in Taja, which I actually have never done before. It is $11.74 Australian. It's by Baranguri Kalaliu. Oh, I'm totally butchering that. Just read it off the screen and decide for yourself how to say that. So it's a color block shirt. Could be some fun to play around with, and also to try a different technique in terms of the intarsia. Okay, the final few are probably more about the stripe or the style. The Brook Hill has some interesting striping on it. The Marina tee is like some nice thick stripes, which I thought would be nice. The Radiant Ripples tee is I think it's a slip stitch pattern in some quite short stripes. And then there's the Stripe Buster and the Sea Glass tee, which are using minis, little bits and pieces for quite thin stripes of lots of different colour. The Sea Glass is also by Wool and Pine, and I've just had a quick look, and it comes in an ebook with the spring sorrel, not the summer sorrel. So you'd be kind of on the right track if you wanted to get that ebook and get the two patterns, and there's some other really lovely patterns in that one as well. The final one is the Parasol tee, which kind of combines some color and some texture, which I really like. It is a similar texture to the Friday and Arisota that I've already spoken about. But it also has some color detail on the shoulders and some color detail along the trims, which I think will be quite nice. It's a DK weight pattern in a cotton merino. It looks like it can be fairly flexible in terms of its size. Yeah, it's listed here. It's got an 8-ply, 5-ply, and a 3-ply in terms of the yarn that's been used. So I think you could be a little bit just experiment with it. I think, I don't know, I'd have to read the pattern, and it's a paid for pattern for $13.75 Australian. Very size inclusive. It is by Heidi Kermeyer. Just reading it now, 1 second. Yeah, it actually says if your yarn choice results in a higher row gauge up to 36 rows rounds per 10 centimeters, the pattern includes what adjustments to make for that. So having something that you can actually be a little bit flexible about the type of yarn you use is actually quite good. So it uses a main color and then two contrasting colors, and I think looks really cute. So, that is a lot, quite a selection of tops that I've chosen to showcase for you today. As I said, my aim is to choose a few of these to knit for myself, um, go through my stash and use stash yarn if I can. I know for sure that I have some 5-ply, some fingering weight in jumper quantity, or even like maybe 2 skeins, so I might be able to squeeze out some of these tops that hardly have any sleeves at all. So I want to try a few more. As I said, I've already got a few that I've tried and that I really like. So I'm sort of starting to know which of the styles work. And I think that then by adding to that and getting a few real good shell base patterns that I can use, and then add some of those color ideas and texture ideas, you can really start to expand out your wardrobe in terms of your knitwear without having to really invest in a ton of patterns. I mean, I do love to buy patterns and support designers because I think that they do a great job, but sometimes you end up buying a pattern for a stripe or for a small texture, and it may not end up being that style that you 100% want. Well, as I really want to do is find that perfect fit, get my numbers down in terms of my size, although obviously that will vary slightly depending on what yarn I use. But yeah, getting a few of those really easy to put on, easy to wear tops that I can just grab and go. So I hope this has provided some inspiration, some ideas, some thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts on any that you have knit and love, and if you have knit them multiple times, and what kind of style you like. Please link to any other patterns that I haven't mentioned that someone else might really like. I've tried to be quite size inclusive, use different yarns, and as I said, there are some different like styles in terms of the neckline, although mostly quite a high neck, as I'm wearing a low V-neck. But because that is the style that I know I will wear the most. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will now be going on that journey to hopefully find my own version of my top, and I can share with you the ones that I try, and I might come up with a revised version of this video showing you more of the ones that I have knit, or trying some different ones once I have gone and tried some of these different styles. So yeah, it's been a bit of fun, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, big fly, if you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.